Introduction. Lotus plants can live in muddy ponds, yet their leaves stay clean and dry. Scientists wondered how this was possible. They studied the plants to find out. A lotus leaf is covered with tiny bumps and grooves. The bumps and grooves trap air bubbles. The air bubbles act like a barrier. They stop water from settling on the leaf. Dirt can't settle on the leaf either. It sticks to the water instead. The water slides off the leaf, carrying the dirt with it. Caption: the leaves of the lotus plant are protected against dirt. Nature is full of good ideas. Plants and animals have lots of clever features. Now scientists are studying these models. They are creating new products based on ideas from nature. This is called biomimicry. Bio means life. Mimicry means to copy. What do scientists do with the clever ideas they find? Experts have created special paints that imitate the surface of the lotus leaf. These paints repel dirt and water. They actually clean themselves. Caption: this computer graphic shows the bumps and grooves that help to protect the leaf.
Chapter 1: Getting Around. Using ideas from nature can improve how we travel. Japan's first ultra-fast trains had a problem. They pushed air through tunnels at high speeds. When a train came out of a tunnel, the air was forced out as well. This caused a very loud noise called a tunnel sonic boom. Scientists noticed that kingfisher birds barely make a splash when they dive into water. So engineers changed the front of the trains to match the wedge shape of the kingfisher's beak. After that, the air passed over the top of the trains. The noisy problem was solved. Caption: a kingfisher's beak and the front of an ultra-fast train. The shapes match.
Many good ideas come from underwater animals. Sharks have skin covered in special ridged scales. The pattern of these scales helps the sharks slide quickly through water. Designers copied the pattern when making high-tech swimsuits for Olympic swimmers. Swimmers who wore the suits broke many world records. Engineers also developed a coating for the wings of airplanes. It is similar to shark skin. Airplanes that tested the coating traveled faster and used less fuel. Caption: this great white shark has special scales that improve its swim speed. Some car makers are studying insects to design the cars of the future. Two examples are the bee and the locust. Bees can see objects all around them. This makes it easier for them to avoid obstacles. Locusts can fly in very dense swarms, but they never crash into each other. Engineers would like to build smart cars with similar features. Caption: this bee has special eyes that give it a very wide field of vision. Chapter 2: Communication. Scientists studied the way dolphins communicate to solve a big problem. Some earthquakes happen on the sea floor. They can cause very big waves, called tsunami. Tsunami waves can be 50 feet high when they reach land. Far out at sea, however, the same waves are only a few feet high. This means it's not always easy to tell when a tsunami is coming. Scientists try to track tsunamis when they form. They use devices on the sea floor to gather information. The information is sent to the surface as sounds. But the sounds can get muddled up. Then the information is unclear. Caption: in 2004, a tsunami damaged villages in Southeast Asia. Scientists looked at the way dolphins talk to each other. Dolphins have a clever way to send messages through water. Their calls travel on several different levels of sound or frequencies at once. A company copied the way dolphins send messages. It built a device that can send information on several different frequencies at once. It will help scientists track tsunami waves.
Diagram. Tsunami warning system. Diagram labels. 1. Device collects information and sends it to buoy. 2. Buoy sends information to satellite. 3. Satellite sends information to warning center.
Caption: Dolphins send clear messages in water. Butterfly wings have led to improvements in cell phones and e-readers. Did you know that the wings of the morpho butterfly aren't really blue? They just appear to be blue. The wings have special patterns on them. The patterns reflect light in an unusual way. They make the wings look bright blue. The screens of cell phones and e-readers can be hard to read in direct sunlight. Now, a company is making screens based on the butterfly's wing patterns. Colors on the screens will look brighter in the sun. Caption: The special pattern on a morpho butterfly's wings makes them look a bright blue color. Chapter 3: Into the Future. In the future, models from nature could help us in many ways. The sandcastle worm makes glue that works in water. The worm builds its home using this glue. It sticks together grains of sand and bits of shell. When people break bones, doctors use metal pins and screws to put them back together. But this is not easy with small or shattered bones. Scientists have been looking for a better way for years. Now, they are testing one based on the sandcastle worm's glue. The new glue is effective. It is very strong, and it can dry almost anywhere. It could be a great way to fix broken bones. Caption: The sandcastle worm uses a special glue to build a home around itself. Scientists have looked at the gecko to help build robots. The gecko's toes are covered in thousands of tiny hairs. Each of these hairs splits into many more hairs. The pads on the tips of the smallest hairs are like tiny magnets. They are attracted to any surface. Geckos can climb walls and walk across ceilings. Caption: A gecko's toes are covered with hundreds of thousands of tiny hairs that can cling to almost any surface. Now scientists have built a robot called StickyBot. Its feet are based on the gecko's feet. A rubber-like material with many tiny hairs is joined to StickyBot's 4 feet. The hairs can grip any surface. StickyBot can climb walls. It can walk up slippery glass and metal. Imagine all the places StickyBot could go. Caption: StickyBot's climbing skills are inspired by the gecko. NASA built 2 rovers to explore Mars. But they have limits. The Spirit rover gets stuck in sand, for example. Now NASA has a new idea for a robot. Mars is a dry, windy planet. Tumbleweeds grow in dry, windy places. Often they break off at the roots and blow about in the wind. Scientists studied the tumbleweed. Then they drew up plans for an inflatable rover. It won't have legs or wheels. It will be round like a tumbleweed. It could cope well with the planet's sandy and rocky surface. Like the plant, it will be carried long distances in the wind. Captions: This rover can't travel everywhere on Mars. Scientists may build a new robot inspired by the tumbleweed. Conclusion: Nature's designs are built to last. Most of their flaws were ironed out a long time ago. The products people create using ideas from nature are not identical to the originals. But when we observe plants and animals from the natural world, we can find all kinds of wonderful ways to improve our lives. What is next for the world of biomimicry? The possibilities are as endless as nature itself. Caption: The bat inspired this small robot spy plane. Genre, myth. Compare texts. Read about how a young Greek god uses items from nature to create a new musical instrument. Hermes and the Lyre. Hermes was a son of Zeus, king of the gods. On the day he was born, Hermes left his cradle and went looking for mischief. Outside, he saw his brother Apollo's fine herd of cattle. Hermes decided to steal them, and he had a clever way to do it. He wove a pair of sandals from twigs to disguise his tracks. To make things even more confusing, he drove the cattle backward. On the way, he passed an old man working in a vineyard. Hermes promised the old man a good harvest if he would not tell anyone what he had seen. Hermes herded the cattle to a cave, where he fed them. Then he came across a dead tortoise. Hermes looked at the tortoise and had another idea. He would make a musical instrument. Hermes used the tortoise's shell to make a frame. He laced reeds across the back of the shell, and he stretched cowhide over it all. He added 2 bow-shaped arms held together with a crossbar. Then he strung the instrument with 7 strings of sheep gut. That was how Hermes invented the lyre. He tuned it and began to sing. Meanwhile, Apollo could not find his cows. He asked the old man in the vineyard about them. The old man admitted he had seen a child driving a herd of cattle backward. Apollo guessed at once that it was Hermes. But when Apollo spoke to him about it, Hermes pretended to be a baby. So Apollo asked Zeus to sort things out. Zeus knew the whole story, and he ordered Hermes to return Apollo's cattle. But Hermes began to play his lyre instead. Apollo was so delighted by the music of the lyre that he said it was worth 50 cows. And so the brothers made a bargain. Hermes gave the lyre to Apollo in exchange for the herd of cattle, and he promised never to steal from his brother again. Make connections. How did what Hermes saw in nature lead to a new idea? Why can it be useful to learn about nature? Use examples from the text to support your answer. Glossary. Biomimicry. Bi-o-mim-a-cry. Using models from nature to solve problems. Page 3. Designs. Designs. Plans or instructions for how to build something. Page 14. Engineers. Engineers. People who design and build engines and other machinery. Page 4. Products. Products. Items made for sale and profit. Page 3. Tsunami. Tsunami. A huge wave caused by underwater earthquakes or eruptions. Page 7.